Hey, what's good, YouTube? Chilling with the boys is back. I hope you guys give it a like, subscribe, do all the things, turn on the noties if you like. We're trying to hit 5 subs by the end of the year. I know, right? Ambitious. Alright, I'm gonna be playing against some bots. I'll tell you why later. I'm playing against bots instead of regular people. What? It's good. It looks nice. I get a lot of kills. I get a nuke. Or maybe I don't. Take a guess down in the comments if I do get a nuke. I'm going to be playing Raid for this game, and I'm going to be playing Miami Strike. I hope you guys like the gameplay, and I'm going to go straight into this video. I think Call of Duty Cold War is a very good game. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's the best game, but I think it is a very good game, just like Modern Warfare 2019, and just like all the other Call of Duties. But one thing I know is for sure, Cold War will never be as good as BO1 or BO2, and no other Call of Duty will ever be as good as them. I mean, we saw it with this Call of Duty. Same systems. Everything was basically the same except for the score streak system. And what? That was it, right? The score streak system and the SBMM. And if you look at Modern Warfare, if you look at Modern Warfare, it's basically the same as the old Modern Warfare. It's actually the same storyline as the regular Modern Warfare. It's literally a remaster of the game. And yeah, it still didn't do as good. Even with improved life quality, and improved this, and improved that, it just didn't stack up to Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. Everyone says those games are way better, because they are. At least to most people. And I think the reason why games and these newer games aren't going to be as good as these older games is because of novelty. There's other things I think they're wrong with these games, but I'll go into them later. But I think the game's novelty has run out. I don't like these yearly releases. It gives away the novelty way too quickly. That's why the novelty went away after, 5 games, right? Usually that's a lot of games for most companies to come out with. But that's year after year. Usually 5 good games. Well, I guess 6 if you call COD 4 World at War. I guess 6. Right? 6 or 7? I don't remember. I'm not the best addition. But look. The novelty's worn off. The game's just been out for too long. And nothing much has changed. And people say, oh, we want change and we want change and this and that. But we changed the jetpacks, we changed the guns in Infinite Warfare, and they don't sell as well. And why is this? Why did the games not sell as well when they changed? And why do people hate it when the games don't change? Right? I mean, look at World War II Call of Duty. That's almost exactly well, not exactly, but it's close to COD 4 and all those other games during the World War era. But people don't like it as much. Actually, there's a lot of backlash for that game. Even though I liked it personally, I thought it was a good game. And I think Ghost is very similar to Modern Warfare's. They didn't sell as well. And I don't think this is because, oh, they're so much worse, or oh, there's no UAVs, or the maps are too big, right? I think for maybe Stonehenge, the map's too big. But honestly, there isn't much difference between that and Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3. Right? The perk system's a little different. That's it. But we have the same perks. We have the same this and that and this and that. It all basically stays the same. So why don't people like it as much? The reason people don't like it as much is also due to social media. Right? People won't ever like Call of Duty as much as Modern Warfare 2 because people have this standard of gameplay. Like, you can't just camp in a corner to get your team a victory. It doesn't matter if your team wins. You have to play exactly how they play a run and gun game. Because if you don't, you're a pussy. People just play for dopamine. And I think this is very projected by YouTubers. And I'm not blaming these YouTubers at all. I'm just saying that they're making the problem worse. But there's nothing you can really do about this, right? They gotta make money. I gotta make money, so we're gonna show good gameplay, because if we don't show good gameplay, why else people watch? However, this causes a big dilemma within the Call of Duty community. community, and any community for that fact, it sets way too high of a standard for people to play the game, right? That's why you have inconsistencies in your game. It's because you're trying to do this one gameplay or this one way of gaming or whatever, but it's not meant for all players, right? Not everyone's gonna be that one guy who does 10 million quick scopes 360s across the fucking map like bands. Almost none of us are like that. Even I was a pro player for a little bit of time, but honestly, games are very inconsistent, even till this day. Even in pubs, games are inconsistent, and people blame that on SBMM, but I don't think that's the reason why games are so inconsistent and get us angry. It's because of our gameplay style. Back in Modern Warfare 2, people camped the hell out of areas. I mean, come on, that's how everyone played back then, right? Like, if you didn't place claymores in front of doors, or if you didn't use one-man army, or if you didn't use a YouTube, right? Like, sure, people hated it, but it was still acceptable to use back then, right? I wouldn't say good. I think there should be standards. And I don't think you should just be camping in the back of the map with a sniper. But it doesn't mean we should set so high of a standard that we're just running and gunning all the time no matter what. I think that's the reason why there's a big shift in difference, because between Modern Warfare 3 and Ghost, something happens to pop up. Something happens to grow. It's the thing I'm using right now. It's called YouTube. That's what grew. And it affected the game in very negative ways because, well, why would people, right? Like, it just sets such a high standard for people. And sorry, this is going to be sexual content, so you might want to skip over this. But people, it's sort of like Instagram models, TikTok models, and porn for that matter. Setting so high expectations for us, it seems like we're bad, and we just get mad at ourselves if we're not able to get to these standards, and we try, and that's why there's so much body dysmorphia nowadays. It's because the social media is setting way too high standards for us, and it's overall making our lives less happy. And the same thing is happening in gaming, right? Think of it. People watch gamers, they watch YouTubers who play games, who do this and do that, hit these clips, hit these that, and these people expect to be able to do these things, but they're not. You can't change the amount of talent you're born with in this game. I mean, it's just like sports, right? You can't change the size you were born with, you can't change the athleticism you were born with, right? You just gotta accept it, and many players aren't able to accept it, and they still try and do that run and gun game, but that run and gun game isn't meant for everyone. It definitely isn't meant for me. And that's why YouTubers, right, and people always say you shouldn't be playing against these bots or whatnot, because bots, well, aren't the meta, and if you play against bots, you're trash and you're crap, you're this and you're that. And honestly, I don't think that's a very good way to play. I don't think it's a very good way to play for dopamine at all. And I think you should play however you want to play, any playstyle you want to play, without being judged, without standards. I mean, it is good to have a certain standard of that, hey, I won't, like, hard scope in the back of the map, or like saying, hey, I'm not just gonna stop playing defense and basketball. It's the same thing, right? Just not doing something super toxic, but yet doing something that's good for you. It's something that people have to find a balance in, and it's just, in the Call of Duty community at least, people haven't been able to find that balance, right? And in this scene, I'm just camping this one area, and it's fine. Look, it's not horrible to have different gameplays. You gotta play differently depending on your style, and not everyone's gonna be that once in a lifetime prodigy of a gameplay or player. Or most of us aren't ever gonna be that, because most of us don't have those reflexes or don't have those controls down, or won't ever have those controls down. So I think to keep in mind, to have a better time on Call of Duty, is not to sweat. Just have a good time on the game, and don't make others make that worse for you. Play how you want to play. Another thing I have a problem with is, I'm actually gonna go over something that Call of Duty has done very well, actually. I'm gonna go over something that helped this franchise grow and helped ruin this franchise. It is the demographic they picked, right? It's no secret that the demographic of Call of Duty is millennials. I don't think that's any difference to us or anything new to us, right? Call of Duty's always picked that generation because it was the generation that Call of Duty started, so they had to appeal to it, right? Free trophies for everyone is what it was like. Is how that generation grew up. I'm not saying that millennials are bad or things. They have their good sides, right? They're not racist, they're not sexist like the other generations. However, they do have their problems on their own. And I think one of the problems with the millennials is that they think it should always be fair and everyone should get what they want, right? And that's why most gunfights are decided by who sees who first, and that's why for a long time there's this lag delay that B. Dobbins talks about perfectly. I love B. Dobbins, watch him, he's good. He makes some good content, and subscribe to him too. But listen, there's a lot of problems with Call of Duty, and one of them is, millennials. They want it to be easy. And the problem with that is that it's not for all millennials, but for the millennials who play the game, I think that's how it is for them. But anyways, I'm gonna go into why millennials make the game worse, and why the game, and how they started the game and made it good at the beginning, but also how they made it worse over time. Millennials, the most hated generation. I'm not here to hate on the millennials, but I'm gonna give some reasons why this demographic has definitely made Call of Duty worse. And I'm not saying this as, they're evil and they did this and that. I think there's some problems that millennials have caused. It was just the skill base, right? This is the generation that was handed everything to them, right? That was the trophy generation, which I don't think the boomers raised them well at all. However, I think that this type of mentality is what caused Call of Duty to have this lag system, right? That was fixed more recently, but it's what creates this SBMM system, right? It's always going for fairness, which isn't something that I want in my fucking games or in real life, because it doesn't happen in real life. There's no fairness, no nothing like that. We don't see there's no fairness in life, honestly. It's based on skill, and I think that's how the game should be. But how could it be based on skill if there's almost no skill to increase, right? The only thing that's skillful in this game is slide cancels and aiming. That's it. I think the game has to have a little more skill than that, right? And so what I propose is putting in different guns, right? Different unique guns, like not Infinite Warfare, but like Halo Infinite has, right? Halo Infinite brought new guns to the table, new weapons, and those weapons were really cool, man. Like this fucking thing that bounces across the walls and shit. The guns take skill to use and skill to learn. And I think that's something Call of Duty can learn from. Make more skill guns. But the reason they won't do this is because their demographic, they won't like this, right? They want it easy, right? As I said before, the millennials want it easy, and I'm not saying, that's a horrible thing, because first off, that's what created the game, right? So I think there should be two types of Call of Duty, right? The Black Ops series and the Modern Warfare series. I'm fine with Modern Warfare how it is now. I think there should be a game that's for, people who just want to play casually. Because I'll admit, I play casually nowadays. But look, there should also be another game, the Black Ops series, which have skilled guns, and you have to have skill to use these guns and weapons, right? Cool weapons, cool guns. That's what Black Ops has always been, an arcadey shooter. So why don't make it a more arcadey shooter by adding new guns and new things that actually take skill to use, right? Like maybe the pistols, right? Like one of the pistols, like the bullets bounce off the walls and poof, hit others, right? Or come up with new weapons that really take skill to learn and use. And new movement systems that you need skill to actually master. But as I said before, Call of Duty won't fix this, because if they did, they will lose money. And people say Call of Duty, other than this, a lot of millennials are gonna be like, hey, you shouldn't be saying about this, Gen Z has a lot of problems. And they definitely do. Gen Z definitely has a lot of problems within it. However, I think Call of Duty could become a better game if they just stopped catering to this one demographic. I know it's what makes them money. However, they could make more money if they didn't play it so fucking safe, doing the same thing over and over again just to appease one demographic. Try different things, even if it's just for one game. And I know they're gonna be like, they're gonna show me evidence that millennials pay for most of their games and this and that. However, I still think it'd be a worthwhile investment. However, I couldn't say for sure it would help Call of Duty at all. I think increasing the skill cap would actually lead to less sales and overall, which is what Activision wants in general. Not just Activision, but what any gaming company wants is more money, because if they have money, then they could actually purchase stuff and buy stuff and actually make their games fucking better. And I don't know why people are so mad about microtransactions. I know they're bad and all. The loot box system I'm mad about. However, the other microtransactions, like the one they have in this game, I think are perfectly fine to have. And I thought the DLC system was good, but they replaced it with something better, which I'm fine with. But these microtransactions are the reason you guys actually get to play good game, because without microtransactions, the game, like, it would be almost unplayable, because there would be no game, because it's not, where else would they get their money from, huh? Like, honestly, guys, like, if you guys say, well, then it should just be a $60 upfront free, but if it was that, they wouldn't have enough money to spend on the graphics, to spend on the money, to spend on the devs. And if they didn't have the money to do this, the game wouldn't be as good. And I think that $60 isn't enough for a game. It definitely isn't enough money for a game to become good and popular. Marketing, the game quality itself, these things take money to do. They don't just pop out of thin air, right? And that's another way the millennial generation has ruined the game. Right? It's what made it more fun for people, but overall, it's ruining the game, right? Microtransactions are necessary. I don't like them either. None of us like taxes, do we? But taxes are necessary. Taxes are good, because without taxes, the country wouldn't fucking run. We wouldn't have schools. We wouldn't have a police station. We wouldn't have firefighters. We wouldn't have nothing, right? We wouldn't have an army to protect us or anything. So I think things like this are necessary, right? Just like taxes are necessary to make a game good, to make a country run well. And I think I'm fine with the microtransactions there are now. I think just the only microtransactions I have problem with are the ones where the loot box ones where you don't know what you're paying for. I think you should know what you're paying for at the least. What else can I say? I think that's a big problem. If Call of Duty doesn't make enough money, why the hell should they do it? And so when people say COD points should be this, COD points should be free and be able to get in the game, I like the idea. However, there's still Activision treyarch has to make money, because if they don't make money, why the hell would they make another game for us to enjoy, right? And people take this for granted, and people take Call of Duty for granted that it's only $60, but the reason it's $60 is because they have all these microtransactions in game and DLCs like they used to have. And indeed, I do love the free DLC seasons and so on and so forth. However, even if you look at zombies, right, or even multiplayer maps, the quality of these maps has significantly gone down, right? It's just mostly remasters at this point that are being sold off. There may be like one or two, about 2 new maps a season. We're still getting a lot of content for sure. However, it's not great quality content that most people and fans want, especially in zombies, right? Like, I love the maps, don't get me wrong, I love the system, I love everything about it. However, the zombies, they're just not as big as they used to be. I mean, come on, remember Zetsubo? Remember Rev? Remember how big those maps were and how much stuff they had? Even if they weren't good, at least they had stuff in it. I think that's something. And the reason why they had stuff in it is because people paid for it, right? If you pay for it, they could put more money into actually developing it. So $15 a person isn't much, but millennials didn't want to pay for that at all, so that's why the system was gotten rid of, right? Not because of any other reason, but it's because people wanted it for free, even though it heavily damages the game itself. I don't know what else to say. It's just not good for the game. It's not good for any game to not make enough money, right? If the game doesn't make enough money, how the hell are they supposed to make their game better? And I'm gonna go into another fact point I have listed here, which is just, I don't know, just the game, just everything about it, right? Like, it's a good game, don't get me wrong, right? I love this game. This is a very fun game to play. The guns are the same, everything is the same. However, I'm gonna tell you why Call of Duty wasn't so popular during Ghosts? Yeah, Ghosts to Infinite Warfare to Black Ops 3 to Black Ops 4. Even though those games were good, and even though those games had similar things with the other games, the reason they didn't, and people are gonna say, well, if you have to do the same thing every year, you know, it's not gonna work, and it's always gonna be, you know, no one's gonna play the game. However, that's false. We saw this with Modern Warfare. We saw this in COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. They're all the same thing, and World at War 2. They're all the same thing, basically. Except for World at War. World at War is different. I'm gonna say that's a completely different beast. But those games were almost all the same. Yet they all did really, really good, and each time they did better, even though there was repetition within the games. So why is it that now people are starting to, not now, but during Black Ops 3, and during that stage, and during Ghost, they were like, there's not enough innovation, creation, and they're still saying this now. Like, why did they say this now instead of before, right? It's the same problems as before, right? But no one complained about it before, and I wonder why. The reason why this is such a problem now, that, oh, there's no innovation in the games and so on and so forth, is because people blame this lack of innovation. However, the reason the games aren't selling as well is because the millennials went away during this time. I'm sorry, but the facts show that millennials had to work during this time. After Modern Warfare 3, at least millennials had to get out of their houses and get a job, go to college, and do work. And that's why Call of Duty didn't do so well during this time. It's not because of something funny, like, oh, there's not enough innovation. There never has been innovation in Call of Duty. The guns have always been the same. Check out all the games throughout the golden era. They were all the same. Check out all the maps. They're basically the same, right? Some were a little more campy. The others weren't. That was it. No other difference. And yet people complain about difference, even though there is basically none, right? If people want difference in their game, right? If they want the game to get better, they can't just keep on pandering the game, right? They gotta stop. Well, they gotta start writing complaints and actually taking action against Activision and saying that we gotta have change, right? We want more change in the games, but no one's doing that because that's hard. Why would anyone do that for a video game? And I think that's why Call of Duty will never change, because it's working. Eventually it's gonna stop working when millennials stop playing, right? The reason Call of Duty Cold War did so well right now, and why Modern Warfare did so well, is because of the pandemic. And the pandemic led a lot of millennials and a lot of just people to lose their jobs, or just stop working because they couldn't work at all. And so people started playing games, right? Especially the millennials. They started playing games. And what game was nostalgic? What game was the easiest to pick up? And what game had the lowest skill cap? Call of Duty. That's why Call of Duty did so well during the pandemic. That's why the sales were at the fucking roof during this time. It's not because of some almighty great thing that happened, like, oh, the systems were so much better than World at War or Ghosts. They're honestly not much different. I could say they were 5% different, 5% better. I couldn't say any more than that. Honestly, people want all this fair shit to get rid of, and they want more skill level. I'm gonna take a guess here. It's never gonna change. The skill level is never gonna change because why would they fix something that isn't broken? In their eyes, they're making a lot of money right now. Let's be truthful. Look at the revenue and profit for Call of Duty Cold War and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. They're insane. So why the hell would they change up their tactics just because some people stop liking the game as much? And so we gotta give Activision or Treyarch a reason to make their games better instead of just saying, oh, it has to be better, it has to be like this, it has to be like that, because we're not giving them much of a reason. And so, in my opinion, I think we gotta give them a reason, right? A good reason, not some shitty reason like, oh, like we gotta, like, instead of just complaints on the internet and videos saying it's not as good as it used to be, I think we actually have to make it. We actually have to make a movement and stop buying Call of Duty, like boycotting Call of Duty, right? Because if they see if Call of Duty doesn't do as well next year, they're going to have to change up how it works, right? Or they might not even change it after a year. Like it'll take multiple years of boycotting, and I think that is gonna come, even without most people noticing or most people trying to do this. I think it's gonna come in the form of work reopening. Work is gonna reopen, right? I mean, the pandemic isn't gonna last forever, right? The economy isn't gonna be shut down forever, because if it is, that's really bad. Like, I mean, extremely bad. But it's not gonna happen. It really isn't. People think that it's gonna last. Activision thinks it's gonna last forever, but it isn't. It's gonna open up. All of it's gonna open up soon. Even if there is more COVID series and more COVID this and that, it's gonna open up because people still need to make money. People need a job, and inflation just can't keep on rising to pay people. Jobs are gonna reopen. People are gonna start working again. I think Call of Duty is gonna do bad again after 2. Yeah, I think they'll do good during Vanguard, but I don't think they're gonna do good after the next Call of Duty or the next one. The demise is imminent because the rise back to fame wasn't earned. It wasn't through good gameplay. It wasn't like they did something radical to change the games. They did the same thing. Actually, if anything, they did nothing radical. They just remastered the same games. Or made 1.5, Black Ops 1.5. So, honestly, I don't think Call of Duty is going to do good. However, there is something that I do have to give Call of Duty credit for. One reason why Call of Duty might still be alive after all of this, and it's because of the sound you make when you shoot, the points that score up after you kill someone. I think it's purely going to be because of that Call of Duty stays good, or Call of Duty stays popular. Because hey, if like the points system, it isn't necessary to see. You don't have to see the amount of points, the amount of aimless points you get from shooting someone. It's almost it's basically useless, right? And they put this in zombies too. Like, why would they put such a useless thing in zombies, right? We could already see the points on the side, like very small. And you don't need a sound to add when the zombies die. It's not like it happens in real life. It doesn't make it any more realistic, so why do they add it? Well, they add these things for one reason. Because it's like dopamine for gamers. The sound they make, everything's been studied, everything has been tested out. These things aren't meant to show you that, oh, you gotta kill. It's to hook you onto the game. These are the things that hook you onto the game. It's the little things. I always say this. It's the little things that make a game good. It's the little things that make us addicted to a game. It's what made Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare through COD 4 all the way to Black Ops 2 so good. It's because of this little sound that you make whenever you kill and the points that show up. It's dopamine. It's the feedback you get. You get off of that feedback, that juicy feedback. I'm quoting Beat Dobbins if you don't understand. But look, if people like points the sound system, right? You see people, they don't like it when they don't get kills, right? They always gotta get their kill. They act like crack addicts with fucking Snake. They act like people who haven't taken their fucking codeine yet. They act insane, man. Like, these people act insane when they don't get a kill or they don't get this. I'm like, why? They get angry as hell. They're like, no, this is unfair, no. Right? They start screaming if they don't get a kill. And I always wondered why, right? Like, for me, it wasn't important to get kills. I just liked the game, right? At least for the beginning, until I got addicted to Call of Duty. But it's the point system that really makes people go nuts and insane. It's the sound they make, right? And so I think this is why Call of Duty has done so well. Not because of the gameplay, not because of any of that, but every game knows this. Halo knows this. Why do the points show up? Why does it say kill-tacular, spectacular, and all these things after you kill someone? It's because of the feedback. The game is done well because of two things. It was fair. It did well for its demographic, the millennials. And the second thing it did so well on was the feedback. A gamer's cocaine, as I like to call it. The feedback is a gamer's cocaine, and that's why it's so hooked into our brain, right? The sounds and everything, the points, they were all made. Even the font they use for the points that show up, they're all meant to get you hooked on the game, like cocaine. And I think that this is a reason why Call of Duty might still do well even with a system that hasn't changed in over, 15 years, I want to say. The system hasn't changed. There's no reason to change it because of the population that they do it for. And another reason a game is bad, or another reason the game has done so well, is because of the feedback. And so honestly, if you guys if game devs want to make their games healthier for people, they gotta get rid of these things. These things, they know it's unhealthy for you. That's what gets you addicted. It's like cigarette companies like Marlboro saying, oh, hey, it's definitely not these toxins. It's definitely not the addictive parts of the weed or the cigarette. It's definitely not that. No. It's totally because of the experience you feel, right? But honestly, it's not because of any of that. It's not because it calms you down or anything. For some people it is, but generally it's because people get addicted to these things, right? Cocaine gets you addicted because it gives you dopamine. In the same way you get dopamine when you kill someone, right? The same way you get dopamine when you have a hamburger from McDonald's. And just like B-Domin said, I think Call of Duty is the McDonald's of gaming. Not because of the skill level, but because of the point system. I think a lot of games are like drugs, or like fucking hamburgers or cheeseburgers from McDonald's. They're not good, yet we still find them addicting because they give us dopamine, right? Points are useless information in real. In a battle, you would never see that, right? In an actual war, you would never see that when you're fighting someone. Even when you're fighting someone, right? You're not gonna see points show up. When you kill someone, you're not gonna see points show up. It's horrific. It's horrible. However, the reason why killing seems so good in these games is because of the feedback. The reason the game does so well is because of the feedback. The reason why people come back and back and back and people get addicted is because of this one thing. Not because of anything new, like a new gameplay system or the guns. I mean, technically it is the guns that make the sounds, and it's the sounds that people love, right? And that's why some of these games, like Infinite Warfare, they didn't do so well. Why? Because they didn't have good enough sounds that made it addicting for people to play. That's another reason why these middle games didn't do so well. It's because of the sounds, the gamer's cocaine, as I like to call it. Now we'll keep on calling it that. And the final problem I have to address with the game is the player base. We gotta make it based more on skill. People have to stop saying it has to be for everyone. Everyone has to be able to play, like those SJWs and whatnot, right? We gotta say that we have to use skill for the game, you know? We have to get rid of the dopamine to see if we really like the point system, like the points that pop up on the screen or the sound that it makes. Because to truly truly know if a game is good, we have to get rid of these things, right? Because these are just addictions, right? Like a cheeseburger from McDonald's wouldn't taste so good if it didn't have all the addicting parts of it, right? If it didn't have that perfect balance of salt and sugar in it that made your brain go wild for it. If it didn't have those things, would it be as good? And I say that about Call of Duty 2. Would it be as good without this addicting shit? I don't know. I don't think it would be. I think a lot of less people would play the game. Call of Duty has to change, I know that for a fact. Call of Duty isn't going to be doing good after the next few years. Because millennials are going to start working. So I think overall, I think what you could take from this is, don't play Call of Duty too much. It'll never be as good as Black Ops, but don't get back hooked onto this game. It's not healthy for you. And like, this is from someone who was really addicted during the pandemic. I was playing 24/7, but I just want to let you guys know that it's not healthy. And if you are gonna get addicted to a game, get addicted to a game for its skill, for the amount of skill you have to put in, like basketball, right? Or football. Something where it's not because of dopamine. Don't play for dopamine. Play to get better at it. Play to become skilled at the game. Something that Call of Duty doesn't do well. Call of Duty doesn't do at all. I think that's why people should stop playing COD at the least. Play games that take more skill or don't have this dopamine feedback. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will talk about this more another day. But honestly, I think this game, successful. What else do I say? Cold War is successful. Call of Duty is not successful because of the actual gameplay or the skill needed to play the game or the innovation. It's because the dopamine, the feedback that you get after you kill someone. Thank you guys for watching me so much. I hope you guys enjoy. Remember to press that like button. I really would like it if I got some new subscribers. And honestly, I hope this helped you a little if you had a Call of Duty addiction. Just like me. But look, hope you guys have a good day. Click on some of my other videos. I'm gonna make more new videos sooner. So until then, I want to say peace out.